Go. Welcome everyone. If anyone is out there, welcome. Welcome to my podcast. This is my first episode where we're going to normalize finding all intentional ways of living. So many people out there are just going with the motion. This is not what we do over here. We like to find our purpose. We like to find what our true desires are, and what are we doing here? Like what's the purpose of us being here? And when I mean about purpose, we talk about intentional living. We talk about the work that we do, our family that we hang out with, or friends that we choose to hang out with, and our hobbies, and everything else that falls with living, basically, And I'm in my 30s right now. I'm giving you a background about me. I'm in my 30s right now, and mid-30s. But aside from my dad and my brother, I never really had nobody to really tell me the things that I've come to realize at my age right now. And not saying that my dad and my brother didn't do a good job. It's just that they're so limited. We're so limited in the knowledge that we know. They can only teach me what they know. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of things that I've come to realize, I'm like, why didn't I learn these things when I was in my 20s? And so I could be living a way better intentional life right now. Even though I'm content with my life, I'm very grateful with my life. I'm very happy about where I am right now, But there's levels to get to, I'm not content. I'm happy. I'm grateful. But there's more that I want out of life. And to get those things out of life, you have to live intentional to know what you want out of life, And these are the conversations we're going to be having over here. And not hopefully, I'm going to do my best to be as consistent and keep this going. And hopefully this is going to be a long life journey, And I want I have a YouTube channel. I'm telling you a bit about my background right now. I have a YouTube channel where I cook steaks and work out. And I run the operations for my brother's business. We run a business together, and I'm part of the operations, make sure that every business runs smoothly. And what else? I have a lot of hobbies. You name it, I do it. I'm a cyclist. I'm a freaking photographer. I'm a blogger. I'm an influencer, whatever you want to call it. And there's so much, there is so much for us to accomplish in this life, and it doesn't have to be so difficult, as long as we set our intentions, set our motions to do the right things, to do the things we intend to set out to do and not give up, we will be all right. Welcome to my universe. In my universe, we conquer the world every day. Every day is a new opportunity to be great. Every day is a new opportunity to fulfill your dreams, or add on to your dreams, add on to a step of where you want to go, So every day we are grateful for God, for everything. Every day we are grateful for our families, friends, the people that want to be in our lives, that choose to be in our lives, And every day we are thankful. And I want to emphasize friends and family, right? Families, when we talk about intentions, my thoughts are all over the place because this is a pilot, right? I'm going to see how this comes out, and then I'm going to start structuring it more. But I wanted this to be raw off the top of my head, so it could be more authentic, right? But it's gonna be more structured as I go. So friends and family, right, are people we were born with, or cousins or brothers or sisters or mom or dad, right? We can't change that. So we do have to do our best to navigate. As for me, I have to do my best to navigate through the good family members and the bad family members, you know? And sometimes you can't even help it because you're all in the same room. You go to an event and everybody's there, you know? But I try to get along with everybody, you know, because I'm here for love. I'm not here for no hate, no misunderstanding, nothing. I'm here for pure love and pure authenticity, right? So, and our friends now. Friends are people like we choose. Those are the people we choose. And sometimes we didn't even choose these people. Those are the people like that grew up on your street and you guys like, all right, now we cool now. You know, now we cool for lifetime now, you know? So these two are different. One is you were born with and one you pretty much chose, you know? And with friends, you have to choose your friends intentionally, you know? Some people you grew up with, you didn't choose them. Like, yeah, we grew up on the same street. But at a certain point, you got to wake up and realize who is around you. You get what I'm saying? Because the people who are around you are the people that's going to either build you up or break you down. Right? So we have to be intentional about our friends. Our family members, we have to be intentional about them too. Like, if you're toxic, I got to cut you off. Even though I love you, I got to cut you off. Let me love you from a distance. I'll see you at family reunions. I'll see you at birthday parties. But we don't need to hang out every day, every week. Right? Boom. So now let's talk about the food that we eat. Right? So now some people just wake up. You just eat everything that was made from your culture. For example, I'm Haitian. Like, rice is a big thing in my culture. So I eat a lot of rice. Well, I used to eat a lot of rice. Now I minimize it like to like once a week, you know, but intentional, right? So I grew up eating rice and beans and fried pork, grill, you know? So at a point I woke up, I'm like, yo, my body doesn't look the way I want it to look. I don't feel the way I want to feel. So what are we gonna do? The intentions is to be healthy. The intentions is to look good, feel good, right? So what do we do about that? I started looking at what I eat. I started looking at healthier options. I started following people, nutritionists who studied the human body to know what to really put in the human body, and with that intention, for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been in the best shape of my life. You know, I could run a mile without breaking a sweat. I can bench 225 10 times. You know, I can squat whatever I want to squat. I can squat my body weight. I don't know. I don't like to squat, so I don't like to squat. So I can say I could squat my body weight. I weigh 175, and that's like where I could squat that. You know, so it's about intentions. And that's what I want this podcast, you know. This is the introduction, the introductionary period. And I have an accent. I'm Haitian, so don't mind me, you know what I'm saying? So this is the introduction period of the podcast. And I want to let you guys know what direction we're going to go in. It's everything about intentional, from the food, from the friends and family, from the what work we do. Most people like have a job. You know how many people I know that the job they have is because somebody else gave them that job? It's not because they're like, oh, I love doing this. I want to do this. I want to do that. No, it's just like, yeah, somebody's like, yeah, you could make $50 an hour doing this. You can make $25 an hour doing that. And they just jumped in and started doing it. And every day you could see that like they're fighting their nature, their human nature, because it's not something they really want to do, but they're just doing it because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to feed our families, we have to feed ourselves, and we have to live in a society that requires us to pay a lot of taxes and a lot of bills. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you have to work, you know, but it's like, what work do you want to do? Like, there's so many options out there. So like, you have to be intentional about the work you want to do and the life you want to live. and all that intertwine with each other. And that's what we mean about healthy, intentional living. Because we want to be intentional with everything we do. Our partners. You know how many people I know are in a relationship because loneliness? They didn't take the time out to see, like, yo, what do I like in a partner? What do I like in a wife? What do I like in a husband? You know? Not too many people sit back and do these things intentionally. And this is what we're going to normalize over here. And these are the conversations we're going to have, you know? And back to myself, the reason I'm going back to is the reason for this podcast is because there's so many young men and women out there that don't know that they can live intentionally. That don't know that, like, yo, I could make a plan and step by step I could achieve all my goals. You know, not too many people know these things. And not too many people know that they're capable of doing these things. Not too many people know that they're able to create whatever's in your head. You can put it out there in the reality. You know? Like everything I have right now, I've seen it 10, 15 years ago. Like I used to dream of my body being six-pack, my shoulders looking good, my arms flexing. I used to dream of that. And what I did, he put a plan in motion, and now all these things is in front of me. Is my reality. You know? I used to want a dope watch. Now I have plenty of dope watches. Why? Because I set a plan to get dope watches. I used to want a nice car. I put a plan in, my intentions, to go get this nice car. But it wasn't really about the car. It was really about, everything is really about me inside. You know? It's about going or doing everything I want to do intentionally. I don't want to just live life going with the flow. Those are the niggas. Those are the people who end up. Those are the people who end up on their deathbed regretting everything. I want to be on my deathbed laughing with my family, telling them I lived it with all intentions. Even if I failed, I failed right. You know, I failed trying. You know, like 50 said, get rich or die trying. Me, I'm going to live intentionally or die trying. Because what is the point of this if we're not living intentional, if we're not doing what we really set out to do to be authentically us? I don't want to follow what everybody else is doing out there. I want to be the leader of my world, of my castle. You know? So this podcast we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna have a lot of conversations, a lot of fun conversations, and hopefully we're gonna have a lot of good guests that could pull up and have conversations with me. You know, like me, So this episode, I want to talk really about me a lot because we're getting to know each other. You know, we're getting to know each other, and I want you guys to know about me. Like I said earlier, I run a business with my brother. I had a cleaning company that I dissolved. I still do it a little bit here and there, but I dissolved it pretty much because I'm trying to aim higher, right? Even though that's pretty big, like that was like the most fun I had. Like working was when I had my cleaning company, you know, but like now I want to aim higher, right? So I have to set my intentions, and now my intentions is to set a plan that's going to take me to the highest level, right? I went to college. I got a 4-year degree in college. You know, sometimes I regret going to college, but for the most part, I'm happy that I did because of the people that I met, not because of none of the stuff that they were trying to teach us. Because I don't remember nothing I learned in college, to be honest with you, besides like accounting a little bit. But I don't remember nothing. But besides the friends, the people that I've met that changed my life for the better, like I can't think more another reason why like I went to college. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not telling you not to go to college. I'm not telling you not to do anything. But that's me. Do I regret it? No. If I had the option to do it over, would I do that? No. I probably would have went to trade school, got a trade, and build a business off whatever trade I learned. You know, it's easy and simple. But people made it so hard when I was younger, man. Like, yo, if you don't get if you don't, like, the first thing they told me to scare you is like, your record, your permanent record follows you, wherever you go. If you get in trouble in high school, you get a detention, that permanent record is gonna follow you everywhere. It's like, what the fuck is that permanent record now? I'm in my mid-30s. What is that permanent record now? You know what I'm saying? It's all lies to scare us, right? But it was good because that made me toe the line where I didn't do things like, well, I didn't go overboard, you know, because I was still a bad kid. But where I didn't go overboard, right? Because I had like this scare, like being scared, like, oh, nah, I don't, because I always, like, as a kid, you want a bright future. And that's one of the things, like, I'm happy, like, my dad and my brother and my mother always emphasize, like, your future matters, right? So I always stood the line to make sure, like, yo, that permanent, when they told me that permanent record follows you everywhere, I'm like, all right, I got to make sure I took this line correctly, you know? But they did a lot of things to scare us, to make us not live, to make us not trust our intuition, to live intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents scared me. They told me go to school, get good grades, and get a job, you know? They didn't emphasize to me and it's not their fault because my parents are Haitian. We're from the mud. We're from the bottom. So what they know is hard work and perseverance, you know, because that's what they know. It worked for them, hard work and perseverance. But there's living. That's why I'm happy. I'm grateful for them because they gave me the opportunity to be in America where I can live intentional, as opposed to be in a third world country where you have to do what you need to do to survive, right? But we're not in survival mode anymore. Now we're here to live intentional. You get what I'm saying? So that's one thing I wish they taught me, to live, like, to follow your dream, like, to, like, go do what you want, listen to your heart, listen to that little voice in your head that's telling you, yo, I mean, do this, do that, do this, you know what I mean? Build this company, you know what I mean? Because you learn through failure. I would have loved to have failed early on in my teens, when I was 20, started a company and just failed. You know? Start another one, fail. Start another one, fail. You know how rich I would be right now? 20 times richer. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't regret anything. I'm just saying, if I had to do it over with the knowledge that I have now, it would be a little bit different. But I am grateful for the journey that I've took. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for the things that I have learned during my journey. And that's why I'm grateful for 10 years ago when I realized, yo, I'm not where I want to be. When I was 24, 25, I started realizing, like, yo, man, I'm not going to have the things that I want in life if I stay on this trajectory of not living intentionally. If you see the quote that says, if you don't follow your dreams, you're going to work for somebody else that did. You know? And you have to follow your dreams, man. And sometimes your dreams are ridiculous, so fuck it. So what? So what? They're ridiculous. So what, you fail? So what? You know? Like I said, I wanted to speak to you guys today authentically from my head to show you the direction we're gonna go with this podcast, because I want to build a whole network around health, around living intentional, and doing what you set out to, doing what we set out to do. Not you, we, because me, I'm on this journey too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no teacher, I'm no mentor. You know, I'm just a guy on the internet that happens to have a mic and 2 cameras and some opportunities and some of the things that I've learned. And I want to continue learning, because what I know is, like, once this goes out there, you guys are going to give me feedback, and I'm going to learn from your feedback, you know? And that's how we're going to learn, and we're going to grow from each other. You know what I mean? I'm not here to teach you anything. I got nothing to teach you. I'm just here to have these conversations. It doesn't have to be super educational. We can have fun. We can talk about music. We can talk about sports. We can talk about fashion. We'll talk about everything, as long as it is intentional, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to live intentionally. You know, sometimes being lazy is what my intentions feels like being today, you know, but sometimes you got to fight that urge, you know. Sometimes, I'm not saying you to be lazy, because you got to put in work, you know, but sometimes your body say, yo, I want to lay down in bed today, man. You got to listen to your body, man, you know, and sometimes you got to go all in. Even when your body don't want you to go all in. You got to go all in. Because sometimes your intention doesn't match your energy, your physical abilities. You know? Sometimes you got to go against that. But we're here to live intentionally. So I'm happy that I took this step, because this is long in the making. And I'm looking forward to having some fun with you guys. I'm looking forward to learning from you guys and ladies. We're embarking on this journey together. Don't be scared to give me feedback, because one of the best ways I learn is from feedback, because I'm a person, I like to jump. You know, I jump first, then ask questions later. I don't know why my mind is wired like that. That's how I am. I like to jump first, then ask questions later. You know, and sometimes I get burned. You know, sometimes I get the biggest burn, the worst burns from jumping first and asking questions later. And sometimes I get the best rewards from jumping first and asking questions later, because you figure shit out on the go. Nobody knows what they're doing out here. That's when I learned this at 27, and I wish somebody told me that when I was younger. Nobody knows what they are doing out here. They're just trying to figure it out. And some people figure it out better than others, you know, because they may be gifted, or maybe prone to information, or applying information better than others. But nobody truly knows what they're doing out here. They just look extra confident. That's why I'm telling you, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a mentor, you know. I just look extra confident, but I myself don't know what the fuck I'm doing out here. Every day is a challenge. Every day is a challenge to wake up, to put in work, to figure out, yo, what am I gonna do to make my company successful, to make sure my friends and family are happy with me, you know, with me when they're around me, to make sure that I'm living the best, healthiest life that I can live, to make sure that my whole tribe in my community is thriving. That's me. You know, I want everybody to thrive around me. And that's why I have this podcast. So let's get to work. Welcome. If you're out there, I don't know if you're out there, maybe I get 0 views, but we're going to drop these videos. Let's go.